What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Good morning. I am going to need you to do one of these from a house of mirrors. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, awesome. Sean, what's happening? I think I saw Michelle on there, my beautiful wife. Tony, Jessica, what's up? Mike, what's happening? Mike, I'll be looking for you in a little bit, right? Steve Moon, what's up? Bob, what's happening? Gabe, Justin, what's going on? Chris, I'm gonna share with you guys in a couple minutes. And if my head's down, I'm part walking on the beach and part seeing how long it takes me to find sea glass. I am working on honing my skills to get to my wife's level of being able to attract and magnify sea glass. I did pretty good yesterday with 4 tiny pieces. So we will see how I do today. Gary Lightfoot, what's up? Sheldon, what's happening? Nice to see you. What's the coolest thing going on for all of you today? Type it in. And then in a couple minutes, once we get some more people, I'm going to share with you what I think is going to be pretty profound. At least it's going to be enlightening or awakening, and it's going to make you money, and it's going to solve a big problem that's going on out there in marketing. Is sea glass just broken bottles? Well, kind of. It's broken bottles that have been in the ocean churning, and then somehow a little piece ends up on the beach, and if you're lucky enough to see it, you'll find it. Now, there are some beaches that have, you know, like in Australia, there was a beach, I don't know what it was called. I don't think it was Manly Beach. It was a beach that was just filled with sea glass. I mean, it was just amazing. But here, it's kind of like finding a diamond to find sea glass because it's not all over the place. What's up, Tommy? I'm a business owner going to pull a toilet for an important customer. All right, awesome. I'm glad that you're doing a job and working hard today, because that's what it's about. You should be working hard. That's how you're going to move forward. So cool. Bill Wilson, what's up, brother? Bill Wilson, I saw that logo that you did for the cancer awareness, and it looked really, really cool. Mike, generator install because I keep useless electrician on staff. Well, what did you want me to tell you about that right now? What did you want me to tell you about that? You know, which is probably going to be, this is going to be helpful, what I'm going to talk about then for you on this part. Definitely going to be helpful for you, Mike. Yeah, Cliff, what's up, brother? All right, let's dig into it. Do me a favor, hit send this to someone real quick. Hit send to anybody who's a business owner that would get value from business and marketing education, and just kind of hit forward or tag or something. Going toy shopping for this year's hard to find toys to give away as a promotion. Oh, what's the hard to find toys right now? I've gotten my wife some hard to find things through our years together. One time I got this little keyboard thing, like I almost had to go on the black market for that thing. You know, is it hard to find like Rock'em Sock'em robots, because that's kind of cool, or is it hard to find like it's the in-demand toy that everybody wants, so they're just selling off the shelf right now and you can't find any? Which one is it, so I know? All right, let's dig into it. The marketing strategy that is missing, that most people just don't understand, is this idea or concept of storytelling and story marketing. There's a lot of different types of marketing, and most people don't even understand kind of the realm of how everything falls. There's advertising, right, which is a lot of times brand awareness. There's direct response marketing. It's putting out a message and you want somebody to take quick action on the message. There is education-based marketing where I want to educate somebody where they come to their own rational decision to choose to buy or move forward to the next step. And there's storytelling marketing, which could be combined, and you could combine all these together, but most people don't even know how to understand and do one of them, let alone the strategicness of combining it together. So we're not going to talk about combining it together. What's up, Mr. Brian Kurtz? We're going to talk, well, Brian's going to dig this talk. We're going to talk about one section of marketing that you can unleash, and you can unleash it in any aspect of your business. It could be email blast, voice shot, it could be on your website. What's up, Mr. Todd Casey? It could be anywhere, and you're going to get greater results from it. And this is the art of storytelling and being able to say a compelling message to somebody. Because if you want to create, look, all marketing is built to create, you want them to consume it. It's consumption is what you want. You don't want somebody to look past something. You want them to consume the graphic, the message, the headline, the body. You want them to consume something, right? And you want them not only to consume it, you want them to understand it, and you want them to stay engaged with it. And I believe if you want to, and it's only my belief, but it's a belief that I've put together studying a lot of marketing from a lot of the greatest in the world, and putting it together and put it in and testing it and seeing the effectiveness of it. And if you think about this art of storytelling, what I want to first do is let's just focus on recruiting, because everybody keeps telling me that this is the biggest problem, is the fact of finding people and the deficit of, tradespeople and the lack of trade people going into it. And I don't subscribe to that. I just don't. It's not my subscription. I'm going to allow it to keep it as yours. What I think the real problem is not recruiting. It's a lack of understanding of marketing. It's not a lack of people. It's a lack of skill set to understand how to get people. I mean, does anybody want to fight against me and disagree? Because always I get somebody in bumfuck nowhere, and they're like, yeah, but my area, we got 32 people that live in a village of huts. And I'm like, okay, well, then you forgot about 32 billion people that live on the planet. And I'm sure there's one person that would love to come and live in a hut, So it's always this fact of, what did I say? Not being, not resources, but being resourceful, and being able to go out there and understand how to deliver this message. So first, you really got to fix yourself. And you got to understand that the number one thing people are going to buy is they're not buying a company. You guys know the phrase. I probably shared it before, but you could hear it again because it will stick a little more. People don't quit. Man, I'm making some traction today. People don't quit companies, they quit people. People don't go to work for companies, they go to work for people. Do you think people go to work for Disney because of Disney? No, it's Donald Duck. It's a person. It's a thing. It's a emotional, moving object. It's something that compels you. But a lot of you, especially in the service industry, when I say service industry, I mean the service industry is a big, broad stroke, right? I mean, when we're talking service, we're talking about anybody that touches anything to deliver a service to someone else. It's pretty much the service industry. It could be, in my years now, working with either consignment stores or dog trainers or construction contractors or restoration or remodel. It doesn't matter. If you're serving somebody, you're in the service industry. And I'll give you a little shot of this while I'm walking. And if you think about this, and you could first adopt the thought that people are going to buy you first. And if the fact is that people are going to buy people first, well then why is all your marketing out there for recruiting Why is it all just a static image of a truck? Well, that doesn't make any sense. If people are going to buy people, they're not going, oh, that's a really great truck. That's the company I'm going to work for. I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to leave this. And the other thing is, you think that people are well, it's money that they want. So I'm going to do sign-on bonuses. And I went from 4 employees to 200 in less than 10 years. And yeah, I had struggles in the time before I figured it out. I had to figure it out that it wasn't a deficiency in people. It was a deficiency in my own skill set to understand how to do this. What's up, Mr. Steven? What's up, John? It was a deficiency in my ability and my skill set. So look, there's a lot of pieces to it, but I just want to talk about the art of a compelling story. You know, a compelling story that you tell the world so that the right avatar that you want to attract to work for your company, they want to know you can relate to them. They want to know that you're going to fight for them. They want to know what makes you as a boss different than everybody else. You know, sometimes people tell me, yeah, my guy quit. He was working too much. He was, you know, I was pushing it too nasty to him. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like the reason why he quit. But really what he quit is he didn't believe enough in the story of the future. Tell me while I'm talking to you what dots are getting connected for you. What are you starting to put together in your mind? Because if there's all my employees, all of them, all 200 of them, all of them, could have easily went to work for any company in New Jersey. There's so many companies in New Jersey, which is a great and a bad thing. They could have went to work for anybody. It didn't matter. Everybody would have paid them more. Like, we had the greatest training. We put our people through university. You know, everything about us was amazing by design, not by default. We built it amazing because just like I'm doing this video for you today, like I would have been building something for gold medal. I mean, I was already up early doing my mind study and building some other stuff. You know, that practice is, you know, the fact that you have to kind of consider here is, what if the number one thing that's keeping you from recruiting is you don't have a compelling story because you can't see past your own tomorrow, so you don't have a story. 2, what if you're living in a world of doubt? So who the fuck's gonna go work for a company where you live in a world of doubt? Even too busy sounds like doubt. Who the hell says, like, I'm too busy? Here's all my friends, I guess. I guess they're my friends as long as they don't fly and crap on me, right? Yeah, I know, I forgot. Sean, I have a new selfie tripod, cool ass thing, and it's somewhere home. I don't know. I left it when I came down the beach, but I agree with you 100% because I have to switch because my arm's getting tired on certain things. This looks like a big pile of crap floated up on the thing here. So if you start to think about this, and you could say to yourself, and let's just talk recruiting, because if we try to go into all the different areas of marketing, well, that's a workshop. I'd have to squat down here and sit for quite a while to go through all the pieces of this, right? But if we think about just on that side, if I could have a compelling story, and it has to be real, has to be believable, it has to be attractive to who you want to come aboard, and then I could tell them a story about what is different, and then I could tell a story. Why do most people, like, why are we gonna fill a room to capacity in New Jersey again in October in a couple weeks for Service Business Edge with a whole bunch of companies that want to grow? Why? Because I don't try to be relatable. I'm just relatable. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I did. And I don't try to sugarcoat this world and be something I'm not. I am exactly who I want to be. Like, I was cruising through Facebook and I saw a whole bunch of these guys that are at different events right now, and they're all dressed up in suit and tie. But then on Sunday morning, they're not in suit and tie. Now, I'm not saying there's not a time for professionalism, but is that really who they are? Is that their very best self? Which gets me thinking, I still believe that someone should start a service company called Tats Service or something, tattoos, and everybody that works there has a tattoo. I think that would be cool, unique, and awesome out there. So let's dial in on the story. And Adam, and a lot of you that are super smart out there, why don't you tell me what should be in the story about recruiting? What should it talk about? Because right away, people go to what they think people want instead of what I believe what they really want. So they go to the 401k and benefits package and all this. And I don't think that's really what they want. I think it's part of it, but I don't think it's the gateway into it. Adam says lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, and what is lifestyle? We were talking the other day, me and Rob and Mike Disney and someone else. We were talking about a guy that used to work for me, Sergi. I think he still works over there. And like this guy, you know, his average week was 80 hours. And lifestyle's an interesting concept because his dad worked 80 hours a week. So if I made the assumption in my marketing and I assumed that, you know, we never put you on call, you never work over 40 hours, you think that's good and attracting everybody. But not everything attracts everybody. Some attracts and some repels. Sergi would have never came to work for me because his model of being a father, a dad, and a worker was not work 40 hours. So if I told him I only had 40 hours, I'd be letting his ass down. You know, sometimes I would go to him and say, man, you're working so much. Is this working for you? I love it, he says. I love it. And I let him come in at 11. So, because for a couple of years, I was fighting with him. And there's a great lesson in this about the story. I was fighting with him about being late in the morning. You know, just every day, 30 minutes, 40 minutes late. Now, most of you would fire this person because if he's late 5, 8, 10 times, you'd be like, I can't take it, get rid of here. But the guy's a great guy. So I just asked myself a simple question. The question was, well, if this is not working for him, what would? And I subscribe to that, you know, people are not expendable and that all people have a superpower and a skill set. So I turned to Sergi one morning and I said, dude, you're breaking me down. You're breaking me down. It's not that the problem that you're late. The problem is it's the demonstration to everyone else that you're late, and that breaks down the leadership boundaries and people will start to think that everybody can be late. And so my question for you is, the mornings don't work. What would work for you? And that's a question that changed the game for him and for me, because it was a constant fight and a struggle. And all I was looking to do is tell me the story that will make you live within that story. And this story has a successful ending for you and me. What's up, Josh? What's up, Mr. Bill Pulte? What's going on? A whole bunch of you that joined. So that's really what I was saying was, tell me the story that we're both in that ends in happiness for both of us. He says, if I get started at 11, I'll never be late. And I said, okay, that's cool. But I mean, I don't know if in my story, 11 to 5 works and gets the job done. I just don't know if that's part of the story. He goes, no. He goes, if I start at 11, it doesn't matter what time. I'll take on call every day. I'll go right through the night. I said, okay, what happens if you get tired? He goes, if I get tired, I'll let you know ahead of time. I said, perfect. So Sergi worked, I think, well, he's probably with me 11 years. I say with me. He's no longer with me since I sold. But he's worked with me 8 more years, and I'm pretty sure he's still there, starting at 11 and working at night. And I would check in on him every now and then in Sergi because, as you know, recruiting is only one function. Retention is more important than recruiting, which a lot of you fight with the retention more than the recruiting. Because normally if you have a recruiting problem, it's you're growing so fast you need more people, or you're in a cycle of people just you piss them off and they leave because you don't know how to ask them, let's put together this story. Like, what's the story that both of us will be successful for? And so I would check in on Sergi, how's it going? And he goes, I love it, man. I get up with my kids. I help my wife get the kids off to school, so I don't have all that that pressure. My wife sometimes works night shifts, so when she comes home, I'm there. She doesn't have to worry about things. He goes, it's amazing. Are you getting burnt out? He says, no. It's incredible. He goes, as a matter of fact, I love it because the jobs that I go on at 6 or 7, he goes, the conversion rate's through the roof because I solve it that night and they could go to work the next day. So they're not worried about missing work. He goes, it's almost too damn easy for me. And I'm like, all right, this is great. What's the lesson here? The lesson was, in the story, I got to create a story that we both win. And I think a lot of business owners fight with this because they don't have the skill set. No one's talking to you on this level. They're either telling you, let me do it for you, so you don't understand what the hell it is, or they're trying to make it sound like it's something magical. And really, it's a concept that you have to start to really understand and process, this art of this story. Now, what do? You tell the story to the market about how you work together with your people, how you build a career in life that not only makes them happy, but it serves the customer, it serves the company. You know the win-win-win. The win-win-win has been around forever, right? If the customer wins and the employee wins and the company wins, it's a win-win-win. If you take away one of the wins, someone's a loser, and it's gonna be painful. So if you could just ask yourself, and underlining all great marketing, you know, in marketing, if you look at it, is just emotionally moving people from where they're at to where you want them to go, or where they're at, where they've been starving to go. That's marketing. That's why when people say, you know, Mike, how do you reproduce? Like, how are you able to grow gold medal? And look, exiting gold medal was a sense of a marketing strategy, right? I mean, it was messaging to make it compelling to the people who invested in taking over the company, and they're doing amazing. I mean, they're gonna, whatever, we were doing 32 and their goal's to do 40 a year later, and they're tracking pretty damn good. So, you know, if you think about this ability to share this compelling story and make it, and you can't do one. This is so crazy. Let me share this with you about, and I hope this is value. Tell me what you picked up, please, so far, or what makes sense, or what clicked, or reinforced, whatever it is. If you think about this, and you think about the message that I'm sharing here about the story, most people in their marketing, they are trying to do one recruiting ad. They're like, yeah, I've been running this ad, Mike, it doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty crazy that it doesn't work. You know, I don't see my sandals over there, which if somebody took my sandals, that would be pretty damn fucked up. You know that, right? Like, I left them over there, and I'm like trying to look, and I don't see them there. So I think that's pretty gonna be really, really fucked up if my sandals are gone. They'll be actually amazing to me. So they do one ad and they set it and forget it, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. You know, what's the problem with it? You know, where did it go wrong? But they don't realize, like, the story has to be different compelling stories, just like in the marketing to your customers. You guys aren't gonna believe this. Like, I'm pretty sure my sandals that were here are like gone. And I think that would be, I'm checking the garbage pail. I think that would be really fucked up. Is that like fucked up or what? That someone would take my sandals from here? Like, I will so like fucking throw jujitsu down right now about my sandals. Like, that is just, maybe they took them and they want to like sell them on eBay or some shit. So back to, which is going to be a really great story that I'm going to tell about how I went to the beach, stuck my sandals there, and actually somebody swiped my sandals. That's just fucking craziness. Yeah, this is look at the neighborhood. That is just crazy. And there was only one people, and it was this family with, unless I'm down, I could possibly be further down too. That could be a possibility, because I'm looking now and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm actually at the wrong exit here. It's a possibility there. So, because I'm so busy talking to you guys that, like, I've walked a million miles. So we'll see. Someone stole my sandals, or I walked a million miles. How specifically do you appeal to people emotionally in your marketing? Well, this is a great question, Bill. First, for all of you, you have to go back and understand. You have to understand who the exact person is that you want to appeal to. And like, if I think of people like a guy that I think he's Atlanta, he says the number one thing that grew his business from 4 to 10 million is identifying the avatar, the perfect customer, right? The perfect customer that understands that you're looking to attract, the perfect buyer that you want. And this doesn't, the concept of avatar and the perfect buyer does not apply to just one form of marketing. It applies to all marketing. It's the number one first thing that you have to do is identify who is the buyer. And most people have this identified on such a subsurface level. Our street has a wooden post on the beach with the number. Oh, I never knew that. Well, eventually I'll find where I'm at on the beach here. My wife's probably pissing herself, laughing her ass off, but that's okay. Let's get back to the marketing. So if you look at this avatar, you have to understand not only how they think, how they buy, what they do, what they appreciate. I always say you have to go as far down, Bill, as DNA level, as far into DNA level of knowing these people, like to the point, what do they eat for breakfast? What time do they wake up? What kind of house do they live in? And most people are like, oh, I'm going to run a postcard and I'm going to run it to people that make an income of $75,000 or more. And it's like, yeah, that's so subsurface marketing. That's so basic 101, generic at best. See, if I could have a conversation, and if I was marketing to you, Bill, and I was doing Walmart marketing, right? And I was saying, let's look at this. If I was to deliver a message to attract somebody that has been in a lineage of generational success, and I went out there and said, are you from a long line of ultra successful people? From people who started at the very, very bottom and worked up to the place where they became a household name in the industry. And if you're that person and you're wondering, what could you do? What could you think about? What could you change in the way you think, in the way you market, in the way you operate, in the way you buy, in the way you manage, that you could not only have the same success, but maybe twice as much success? Would you be interested in having a 30-second or 30-minute conversation to go through the 5 things that people who come from this long line of very successful builders, growers, empire makers, and in that time, I'm going to give you the 5 things that people have found real helpful, and let me tell you a story about one of them. Well, then you start saying to yourself, shit, that's me. That's me. He's talking to me. Like, I want to build that empire. I want to do things that are, $500 million. Like, I want to be that guy. I want to have that level of feeling and confidence and charitable give back and legacy. I want to be that guy. And then you say to yourself, oh, okay, that's good. You put my sandals back. I think I see them, Dave. I'm pretty sure I was at the wrong thing. I was so so deep into just wanting to deliver value that I could have ended up walking down to Island Beach and figured it out. Normally my wife would keep me on track, but she's not here. But thank you for running back up and throwing them down for me. I appreciate that, brother. So does that make sense, Bill? And most people don't either. They don't case study these type of people. They don't get the underlining demographics of these people. They don't ask their avatar strategic questions to make their... All right, I can't go off the beach without one piece. So I got one piece at least, so that's good. You know, when you dial that in, I mean, tell me, everybody, how magnetize it. Now, if I could put it out, and I could put this out where there's a story, and that story is so compelling. I mean, let's face it, my story is very compelling to people. And maybe it should be, and maybe it shouldn't, but to the right person, it's compelling. I mean, if you look at it, I pretty much go from being a slave in my own business and pretty much just working 1 billion hours and struggling, and I don't know about you guys, waking up in the morning early, going to bed late, saying to myself, I'm probably letting my family down. This is not what my wife signed up for. I'm climbing in another damn attic that's way too fucking hot and working for another customer that, God forbid, if they offered me a glass of water while I dig a trench through their shale and dog shit in the backyard, and, you know, dig until your hands are blistered and raw. And then, God forbid, if it's a real hot, humid day. Any of you, can you relate to that chafing stuff? You know, that chafing between your legs where it feels like your thighs are bleeding to death, you know? And so, like, I get it. So it's a very relatable story, not because I made it up like a lot of these info marketers and shit. They try to compel you with fakeness and lies. Like, I live this. I live this story, and this is what I did. This is what I do. I get it. I get the struggles, the pains, I get the customers. We did a job for a customer one time, and they owed us, I think it was 30 or 25,000. And the guy says, I love you and Rob. I love the drop that you did. I know the final payment's 30,000. I just don't want to pay that. I'm like, what do you mean you don't want to fucking pay that? You love the job, you love us, we got it done ahead of schedule. It's the best electrical work ever you could have got from anybody. And you don't want to pay. Yeah, well, I thought, you know, you guys got it done so quick. Yeah, because we're so fucking good. We're so good. So you should have told me you wanted me to take longer, right? It's like that dentist. You know the dentist story, right? The guy pulls the guy's tooth out. It takes 5 minutes to do it. And he says, $375. It took you 5 minutes. He goes, you should have told me. I could have pulled that tooth as slow as you wanted me to. You know, throat punch that person in the background. She has your sandals. That's the guy. He's trying to find sandals, this guy. He's trying to find gold, which I love those metal detectors. I think I'm going to be that guy. I'm just going to get that metal detector and just walk, because I've always thought I would find a rare coin that's worth like millions of dollars and just be like, it's so cool. But I wouldn't give it in to anybody. I would keep it and wear it on a necklace. And then when I die someday, my son and daughter, they'd be like, what the hell's this necklace? And they look it up and be like, holy crap, Dad's been carrying that rare coin for all these years around his neck. And then they'll just cash it in and go buy shit or something. That's my story. Steal his sandals. That's awesome. I'm gonna go take the kids' sandals over there. So, does this make sense about understanding the avatar, understanding the story? And everybody wants to talk about that there's one story. There's not one story. Like, I heard someone the other day online was talking about the hero's journey story. Yeah, that's one story. That's not all the stories. Yeah, there's a story of failure to success. There's also a story of failure to deeper failure. And sometimes that story is more compelling than the story of failure to success, because the failure to deeper levels of failure tells you, don't do this. Don't do that. You know, my one student who was an alcoholic a long time ago, 20-something years ago, He says, man, what changed my life was not the story of someone who stopped and was successful. It was someone who didn't stop and struggled over and over with life. And he said to me, so we spent a lot of time, over 20 years training with me, he said to me, man, it's the fact that I didn't want to go to the struggle. I didn't need to hear what success was. I heard so much of the story of failure that I knew I didn't want that damn story. So as you start crafting, and I would tell all of you, this is a great, I found my sandals. Thank you, Dave Frankowski put them back for me. Thank you for that. Or are they mine and I just took them from someone else? Who knows? There's your mystery. So if you could take some time while you're either barbecue grilling or chilling on the couch or at the park or something, and you could take a pen and paper and just say to yourself, what would be the compelling story that I could tell my market, I could tell people I come across, that would be so magnetizing that they would consider having a conversation with me. And that conversation, I can talk to him. Like, I stopped doing this a long time ago, and a lot of people have done this, where they're begging people to work for them. They're trying to convince them. And it's so funny because I'll tell you, I'll make my point on how real this story is. So we're interviewing, which, by the way, if you know anybody, we were interviewing for somebody on that understood sales really, really good, could communicate value and allow people to buy value for CEO Warrior. So we have somebody that comes to the shop. They're really skilled set, and we go through our process, which is a very strategic process of how the first interview goes, how we ask them to do things, and so we have a process. So this guy, we're pretty much offering him a job, and then he comes back and he tells Mike Disney, he says, yeah, so the offer was good, I just want more. And Disney says, okay, well, there is no more, and you got it really, really confused here, and I apologize for confusing you. This is not like we're fighting for you. This is you have to earn the right to work for us. So I'm sorry you got that mixed up. In the future, if you would like to reconsider that, we will possibly reconsider if you might be a fit for the #1 training and coaching organization in the world, but we don't do it the other way around. And he let the guy go. So I come and I said, what happened with the guy? And he says, well, I don't know if you're gonna be happy or mad. And I said, well, I'll let you know either way if that's fair, because if I'm happy or mad, I'm gonna just discuss it with you. And he says, well, this is what happened. And I said, okay, that's fair. That's good. You're absolutely right. We do not beg people. I've never begged people to work for me. I never tried to sell them on the fact of you must work for us. I always educate them on the fact that we were going to a place that most people will never see, with a type of company that most people will never experience, led by a couple owners that most of you will never meet in your life. And that alone is so compelling that people will move from where they're at to come and work for us. And I didn't have to go out there and say, oh, come and work for me. I'm going to pay you 50 cents more or $2 more an hour or something like that to beg them. You know, I didn't have to do that type of stuff. Thank you, Dave. So, you know, because people get it. They want to work for powerful, strong people, and they should earn a right to do that. So hopefully you guys picked up some stuff here. I got to head back to the house, which I made it to the right street, which I can't wait to hear my wife's conversation later about that. But this is the street. So that's that way, and we're down this street down here. That's where our house is. So tell me, type in not only what you learned, but what are you gonna do with what you learned? Hi, good morning. That's what I want to know. Type in what did you learn, and what are you gonna do with what you learned? time for that GPS tracker. Yeah, you know, I tell my, she says, you never know where you're at. And I say, I do. I mean, I don't always know where I'm going, but I always know where I'm at. I'm standing on my 2 feet somewhere. So, and since I'm in no hurry, I could end up almost anywhere, you know, so that's cool. Hold on. Where are the sandals? I got the sandals, brother. Look, we completed the mission. I got the, I don't know how cool it looked with my jeans rolled up like that. I don't know how good that was, but that's a different story for a different day. That's what I'm wearing, and I'm sticking to it. Oh man. All right, don't worry about my sandals no more. Type in what you're learning, because that stuff, I don't know anybody that's connected those dots, and I wish I had them damn dots connected 24 years ago when we started the business, because they could have saved me a lot of marketing dollars. They could have saved me a lot of wasted time. I mean, understanding this stuff, and that's my goal for you guys, right? Like, if I'm a fit for you and you want to come to a service business address, that's awesome. That's good. Thank you. But if I'm not and you can't come out, it's okay too. Like, I want you to get massive value from what I'm going through so we can change this industry. You know, I hate hearing these. I have stories every day of these guys that are burnt out, fatigued. Their wives are ready to. Now we got one story where a wife threw a wedding ring right on the damn table. You know, and I don't know the stat, but if anybody could find out, you know, the divorce rate's really high, as you guys know. It's really high, and I get it. It's not, relationships are not always easy. You have to work at them. It's work, and you have to learn together and grow together. But what is the divorce rate of business owners today? Feet itchy? No, I'm knocking the sand off, brother. You know, I was going to throw a kick in the air, whip a little sand in some people, but, you know, I got to wipe off. Look, I don't want to bring, you think I want to bring sand in that bitch? I don't want to bring sand in my truck, even though it's got sand all over it. My son don't care. He could have sand stacked on my son. He could have sand stacked on his feet. He'll just jump right in my truck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But who's watching UFC tonight? That's what I want to know. My son has, but Dave, you got to come by one time to meet my son. You're going to meet my son. But who's watching UFC, and it's going to go down? It's going to be a fight, right? It's just going to be good fight of good warriors throwing down. And I think that's real good. So that's what I got for you today. It's 10:25. I got to go back, straighten up. I have a call, and then boom, I got to head home so I can hug my beautiful wife. So I'm out. Have a great time. Apply things. Boom.